Hello everybody. Those lights are really annoying, aren't they? Should we go this way? Does that work? Look a bit better. Look a bit better. There we go. So, hello everybody. I haven't done a video in quite a while, and I haven't done a live stream either, so bear with me. Oh, what's this? There we go. Hello Jack. Hello Demon Rider. Hi Jack again. Yeah, so hello to everyone watching. Yeah, I haven't done a video in quite a while. This past year has been absolutely crazy busy. I've got a new job. I've had 2 new jobs actually. Yeah, I'm still alive. Hi, Kev Shed. Yeah, so the last year I've been flat out busy with stuff. I've had 2 different jobs. I had to leave one because I had a hernia a couple of years ago now. It's been that long. But I thought I'd actually done the hernia in with a new job. So I had to quit and then got a new job, which is really, really good. But I left that job just before all this lockdown stuff happened. So I've actually had a bit of time on my hands, which is kind of good. So been, yeah, getting prepared for the things I want to do. Hi Paul, good to see you. Good to hear from you. It's good to hear from you all, really. I've been trying to keep an eye on stuff, you know, as and when, and it's been great to see the channel grow and stuff. And it's just, I do feel bad about not doing any videos, but you know, life does kind of get in the way occasionally. So, so yeah. So what I thought I'd do with this video is tell you about the projects. The most questions I get about is the turbo bike. I'm quite excited about this. So I'll have a bit of a talk about the turbo bike, some other projects and bits and bobs I've got going on and want to do and stuff. And then I'll do like an Ask Me Anything, because it seems what all the kids do these days. And then, yeah, I'll open up to some questions and stuff. So if you want to leave a comment, I do keep trying to keep an eye on them as well. I keep looking over there. So yeah, if you leave us a comment and then any questions or anything, and I'll do my best to answer them. So yeah, I'll fire away with the updates. So let's, you can tell I haven't done this for a while. So let's swap the camera around. So we are looking around the garage. So as you probably know, I got a welder last year, a TIG welder, and I've been practicing some bits and bobs. I haven't used it as much as I'd like, just because I've been busy, but I have been welding some bits and bobs together. I've actually done this in the last week or so. Is that the nice looking one? No, it don't look as nice. This is a good looking one. Don't want to show you the bad welds. So yeah, I don't know if that's focusing. There we go. So I've been practicing doing some welds. Ignore that bit there. There's a bit of contamination. But yeah, been doing some welds. Been practicing, trying different settings and random bits and bobs like that. So currently, you can see I'm welding on top of my toolbox. Now, it works. It's kind of okay. I've got the earth on the back of the metal plate, but that's the biggest sort of surface area I've got. So the idea with a clamp earth on the plate is I don't have to clamp that directly to this. I can move it here or here or here, or do whatever I want, and I can still weld to it. Now, having that tiny little plate that's not much bigger than my hand is a bit awkward. So if you can see in the background, I've got a 1000mm or a meter long and a 500mm or 50cm wide piece of steel plate. Now the idea with the steel plate is that's going to be the top of my new welding table. Now to weld, or to make the welding table, I do need, hide some stuff, you can probably see it, but yeah, to weld it up, I need some box section. I've started cutting it up into the lengths of one. I've got a couple of designs which I'll show you in the videos, but I'm going to make a video on making my welding table. It might not interest everyone, but I just want to kind of make a record of it and show you what I'm doing in the garage, really. So yeah, I've cut lots of steel up. When I ordered them from a trade place, they come in 7.5 metre long lengths, which is considerably longer than my garage, so I had to cut them down straight away and get them ready. So yeah, that's going to be my next big or my first project, probably my first video I'm going to put out, because having this welding table is going to make my life so much easier when it comes to making the turbo bike and the turbo kit. I've got to make headers and pipes and all sorts of stuff, and just having that table is really going to help me out. So let me take a seat. Sorry about the shaky camera action. So yeah, so that's going to be probably my first video, my first sort of project. So I want to get that done. I've sort of sized it up. It's not huge, but I think it'll do the job I need it to. I'm only in a garage, so yeah, that's going to work for me and make my life easier. So the next project I've got is someone's actually given me, sorry about the lights in the background, I'll turn this way a bit. So the next project I've got, someone's actually given me a Bandit 1200 frame. Now, this is the removable part, so it makes life easier getting your engine out. Now this is very bad. I don't know if you can see how rusty that is. But this joins to the other side of the frame, and if I can find it without knocking stuff off, this is the rusty piece that come off it. So that normally sits in the middle. It's probably that side actually. That side. Yeah, that normally sits there. It gets all the stuff off the front wheel and it rusts out. I mean, I know the light's not great, but look how rusty that is. That is really bad. So yeah, I got given the frame. I've got this little piece here as well, which is the bit that sort of goes on there, but on the other side of the frame. What I'm actually going to do is try and repair this, because I see lots of people on Facebook and stuff like that are always looking for one of those bits because theirs has rusted out. I've actually got some tube from a local engineering place that makes trikes, of all things, and that is the perfect size to replace that tube with. So that's going to be a project. I'm not that bothered about doing it, to be fair, because I don't know what I'm going to do with this frame. Maybe build another bike, maybe have it as a project of some sort, but I'm really in no rush. I've got 2 bikes that I want to do some work on before that. But it's just one of them things that when I've got a bit of time or I can't do some work on another bike, that's probably what I'm going to do. So that's that. So another bit I've got to do, or another project I've got, is now I can TIG. I say now I can TIG weld. I'm still learning and I'm still definitely practicing. But one of the things I've always wanted to be able to do is weld stainless steel, which I actually got some stainless steel today. I'll show you more of this in a minute. But don't look at the welds at the top, but that one around the middle, I'm quite happy with how it looks and the colour and stuff like that. But yeah, so I can weld stainless steel, and in theory I should be able to weld aluminium. Now I haven't actually tried aluminium yet, but it's something I want to try soon. Now, something I've had in the shed for a little while is this swing arm. I don't know if you can see that. Now, it's a Fireblade swing arm. I can't remember the exact model, but you can actually cut the brace off, and they apparently fit onto a Bandit 1200 swing arm. So it's a cheap way of having an underbrace swing arm on a Bandit. So another video I want to do is me attempting anyway to underbrace a swing arm. Whether I put it on a bike or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's something I've always fancied doing. Even when I was like 19 years old, it's something people did. They chopped the brace off of a blade, and put it on a Bandit swing arm. So it's something I've always wanted to do, and I don't mind, you know, getting people to do jobs that I literally cannot do and don't have the machinery for. But all these years later, I've got the right welder for the job, so I'm going to give that a go as well. Hopefully that's something you guys will be interested in, and come along with the journey of learning how to weld aluminium. So yeah, should be fun. Now, drum roll, everyone's been asking about the turbo bike. So I'm not turboing my Bandit that's sitting there. It's looking rather clean. I'll turn the camera around, hang on. As most people have probably had a bit of time on their hands if they've been off work or whatnot, but I've given it a bit of a clean. Chain probably looks as clean as it did when I put it on. Just give it a bit of a wipe over, really. Just get rid of some dirt and stuff. So yeah, I'm not turboing what I'd call my Bandit or the It's Bandit o'clock Bandit. I'm going to be turboing this champagne one. I bought that because I want to do it to a separate bike, because if any of you have had projects, you know, they can overrun, or you know, you sort of work on them year round and you never really ride the bike much because you're trying to work on it constantly. Sorry about coughing. Because you're riding it constantly, or you want to ride it constantly. I've lost my train of thought. Because you're working on it all the time, you don't always get to ride it. So that's why I bought the second bike, basically. And a pretty crucial part for the turbo kit is a turbo. So I finally decided which turbo I was going to use, which I'll explain more about the turbo in the turbo videos. But yeah, I finally got a turbo. Managed to pick one up. It's a second-hand one, but hopefully it will do the job. So yeah, I'm rather happy about that. So the turbo's turned up. Now, some other important stuff for the turbo kit is, I'll show you around here, is the pipework. So we've got various different pipes, various different sizes, got different bends, different lengths, and we've even got the exhaust flanges. So I'm quite happy about that. I've got all the bits I need, and I've even got a random box of scrap. They're all welded together. I know it's strange. Now, obviously, if you've been watching the... Hang on. Yes, so if you've been watching the videos for a while, you'll know I've got a full Max Torque cans exhaust system on my black Bandit. It's Bandit o'clock one. I absolutely love that system. Really good friends with Martin at Max Torque Cans up in Brusco, and he's actually supplied all of the stainless steel. I told him about the project and what I wanted to do. He's been giving me some tips on welding and stuff like that. And yeah, so I worked out the bends I needed and that sort of thing. And he's posted them all up, and he's made a box full of scrap metal as well, so I can practice welding on stainless steel before I actually get stuck in and sort of make a mess of my actual turbo pipes. Sorry about a cougher. So something that I got a Christmas present. I'll spin it around. Yeah, so I got a Christmas present from Ian and Scotty, who run the website side of things on classicmotorbikes.net. So if you haven't been on the website, check it out. There's loads of info and stories and articles, and there's so much stuff on that website. It's unbelievable. Definitely worth having a check out if you're bored and you've run out of videos to watch. So yeah, so they got me a Christmas present, which is really, really cool. I wasn't expecting it. I was a bit shocked, really. I felt a bit uneasy at first, but then I opened the present and I was absolutely blown away by it. So, as you probably know if you're watching this video, the series of videos I started out with, It's Bandit o'clock. Well, there we go. So they've got me a Bandit 600 tank in the lovely turquoise blue. And yeah, absolutely love it. And obviously it's got its Bandit clock with a clock in the middle. And as you can tell, the time's wrong, or rather the battery stopped in the clock. But yeah, so I've hung that on the wall. And I absolutely love that. It makes me smile every time I come in the garage. So yeah, Scotty, Ian, thank you very much. That's awesome. Really is cool. So thanks for thinking about that. So right, let me spin around. Let me go and sit back down. And oh yeah, something else. Someone, I think they see me on Instagram or somewhere like that. Stop playing ice hockey. Start making bike videos. So you can see these big bags down here. It's got my hockey kit in, and I'm occasionally an ice hockey goalie. I've got my goalie pads there stuffed down the side of the bike. So yeah, I started playing ice hockey about a year ago, which I absolutely love. I used to play it years ago, and yeah, finally got back at it after breaking my leg quite badly a few years ago again. So yeah, really happy with that. So right, now I've hopefully not waffled on too much. Hopefully it's actually made a bit of sense, because I do get talking sometimes. And so there we go. I'll do it that way. Bloody too many bright lights. Right, so let me somehow, here we go. So I can finally get the comments up. So yeah, if you've got a question for me, I'll try my best to answer them about the projects or the bikes or anything really. Just try me and I'll do my best to answer it. I can't promise it though. So yeah, right, so let me scroll back. Lots and lots of comments. Thank you guys. Do appreciate it. So, yep, I am still alive. Paul, hello Paul, and Paul, Monday and Stevens. Adam, sorry I'm late. I'm in the shed working on a Bandit. Good to hear. No, it's all right. As you know in my live videos, I do waffle on a bit. Jack, did I ever find out why it wouldn't run on 3 cylinders, the Turbo Bandit bike? Yes, I did actually. So I made the video, and it wouldn't quite, after stripping the carbs, it wouldn't quite run on 4. It was on 3, sometimes it was on 4. It was running pretty bad. Now, the reason I took the carbs off to have a look through them was the previous owner had took the carbs off the bike and put them in an ultrasonic cleaner, and he'd put them back together and it never quite run right. And that's when I bought the bike. So I obviously took them apart to see if I could find out why it wasn't running right. Now, generally you sort of look at the standard things. Are the jets blocked? What are the mixture screws set at? What's the float height? So the float sticking or anything like that. You sort of look at the standard stuff. But then you sometimes make assumptions, and they are the mother of all. Yeah, I won't say it. And you sort of assume things. Now, when I finished filming the video, obviously it wasn't quite running right, and I wouldn't say I was upset, but I was a bit miffed as to why it wasn't running on 3 cylinders. Normally I can get them running on 4. There's not normally too much to it. I say that like it's easy, but like generally I'm pretty good at getting Bandits running reasonably well. I was watching the video back as I was editing it, and I was looking, and I was like, when I was looking at the carbs off the bike, there was a torch or a light or something behind them, and I couldn't see any light coming through the butterflies. Now, even when the butterflies are shut in the carb, there should still be open a tiny, tiny amount to let a little bit of air through when they're running on tick over. I couldn't see any light through them on a couple of them. Now, if you've ever balanced a set of carbs, you'll know one of them's set and you can adjust the other ones. So there's actually only 3 adjusting screws, 1 at each end, and the one in the middle adjusts the 2, like carbs 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I was looking at them, and there was no daylight coming through. I was like, I wonder. So I popped back down, Got the screwdriver, put it between the carbs, and I just only a tiny bit open the, in theory, open the butterflies up a little bit. Still nothing. Did it a bit more. Did it a bit more. Did it a bit more. Until I'd opened the butterflies. Sorry about this cough. I was just talking too much and having a dry throat. My hay fever's been horrible to me recently. It's really hit me bad. But yeah, sorry. And then I finally opened the butterflies enough, and it magically jumped onto 4 cylinders. It's still not 100% right, but it actually runs on 4 cylinders now. So what I really need to do is balance the carbs, and I think on tick over it will run much, much better. But yeah, as soon as I'd open those butterflies, absolutely not spot on, but it's actually on 4 cylinders now. So yeah, we all miss stuff. Sometimes we're not looking for it, or you never think someone's going to have shut the butterflies off completely. Yeah, so they just need a good balance, and it will be spot on. So right, let me read some more comments. So don't be afraid to leave a comment, and I will get through them. Tommy Murphy, hi, good to see you're back. Your beard is nearly as long as mine. Yeah, I was due a haircut probably the middle of March, just before the lockdown started. I was supposed to be going on a stag do, and I thought, right, I'll get my hair cut the day before the stag do just so it looks the best. And then all the lockdown happened and can't get a haircut. So there we go. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit better with the sound. I just noticed that one pop up. So yeah, right, let me get back through. Yeah, so the beard's pretty long. I will cut it before I ride a bike. Normally I have it short in the summer just because of having a helmet on and not trapping it all in the strap on a helmet. But yeah, so what turbo are you using, and will you make everything yourself? Yes, so the turbo I'm using is from a Subaru Impreza. It's a TD04L-13T. I've had some brilliant advice from some people that build turbos or build turbo kits and stuff like that, with different suggestions for turbos, which is great. I really appreciate all the help they've been giving me. And a lot of people have used this turbo for Bandit builds, and that's sort of because I've been doing so much research while I haven't been making videos. If I've had a bit of spare time in bed, I've been like trawling the net, chatting to people, that sort of thing. So that's the turbo I'm going to start out with. Now, I don't have to, I can't, there's not like a rule that I can make one turbo kit and that's it. I want to make this turbo kit. The experience is all going to be new. Learn from it, hopefully get the bike running spot on, and then from then I'll possibly progress. Maybe use a different turbo or a better turbo or a different system or something like that. I want to learn. That's the kind of thing behind it as well. I've been doing loads of research, seeing where other people have gone wrong and how they've got round it, and that sort of thing. So yeah, and as regards to am I going to make it myself, that's my plan. Dave Dunlop's been helping me out and giving me some advice. He welded my slabby frame for me. He's only down the road. He's been giving me some great advice. And he does some great kits, ride in, ride out for, I wouldn't say a terrible amount of money. The quality of them's just, they're really nicely made. But I just want to have a go myself. I prefer to try and do things myself. Even if I get it wrong, I don't mind, but I just like to have a go, really. It's part of the enjoyment of it, is doing it yourself. So, right, next question. Hopefully that's answered it for you, but I'll try and explain as much as I can in the turbo videos. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm far, far from that. I know about that much about it. So yeah, I'll try and explain why I'm doing things. Even if it's the wrong thing, I'll explain why I'm doing it or why I think it's right and stuff like that. If anyone knows better than me, I'm more than happy to learn from other people's experiences and stuff. And I really would appreciate if people are willing to take the time to improve people's knowledge and stuff. That'd be great. So yeah, enough about that one. So let's go to the next one. Bandit Cookie, good to see you back, Ian. Look forward to the new videos. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to making them as well. It's been ages since I made a video, and I really do miss it. I love making videos, I love motorbikes, and I love working on them, so it's kind of cool like that. So, Kev Shed, hi Kev. So the TIG welder I have, I believe it's called an Apex TIG welder. Now, the spec on it is it's AC/DC, it's 16 amp, and sorry, it runs off a 16 amp plug, which is like the blue sort of star ones you think of caravans with, and it's 200 amps. Yeah, 200 amps. And it's got pulse settings and all sorts of stuff like that on it. It's a cheap one from China or off eBay. You know, some people say don't use them. Some people say they're spot on. I thought I'd chance my arm and give it a go. I think I paid $380 for it, something like that. But then you need a regulator and a pipe and a massive gas bottle. Well, it's not massive, but it's like the medium-sized gas bottle, and all that sort of stuff. So it adds up really quick. You need gloves, which you should have for MIG welding, which I do occasionally. But you know, you need proper TIG welding gloves and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, it's just a cheap one off eBay. I took a chance. Some people go, oh, it didn't work out the box. Other people have done 2 welds and it's gone wrong. But so far, so good. It's been really good for me. I'll just get rid of notifications. It's been really good for me. It's worked so far. I've managed to do some reasonable welds with it. And it's got a lot of the settings on it that modern welders have, like pulse settings, slope up, slope down, and all this sort of stuff. The only thing I haven't tried with it yet is aluminium on AC, but that is something I want to do in the not too distant future. So we'll see how that goes. Right. Comments, here we go. Kev shared. Adam, just checked my frame. Not brilliant, but better than the red one. Yeah, that's pretty well disappeared. Obviously, there's drain holes there, and they cop all the stuff off the road. So sometimes the drain hole blocks, and they just rust up and go silly. So it's something you need to check on your Bandit. The amount of people that throw these parts away and just buy a second-hand one off a bike that's being broken, because I see people break Bandits all the time, and the frames, no one tends to want a whole frame. So a lot of the time that bar will probably sell for more than the rest of the frame will. But yeah, so you know, it's a shame people throw them away and don't repair stuff. But it's just how it is, I guess. Not everyone's got a welder or the time or anything to do it. So, Jake Kig, hello Ian, glad to see you back. Can you hook me up with the people of Max Talk of Max Exhaust? Want a shop for a new system? Yeah, so it's Max Talk Cans or MTC. They're on Facebook. I'll make a comment on this video once it gets posted after I've gone live with a link to their website. The system I've got, I absolutely love it for my Bandit, but then I would say that. But yeah, no, it's a great system. I've worked in bike shops over the years when I was younger, and I've put loads of different aftermarket systems on bikes, and I wouldn't say none of them quite fit, but most of them need a bit of finessing. This thing slid on. I mean, if you watch Series 1 of its Bandit O'Clock, you'll see me fitting it. You'll see them actually making the set of headers, which was really cool. They actually let me come up and do a bit of filming. You know, I love that sort of thing, showing off how stuff's made, because a lot of the time we just buy stuff, it just turns up in a box and you think, oh, okay. But it was cool for them to actually let me look around the workshop, and actually let me have a go at TIG welding off the camera, which was kind of like, I need a TIG welder. But yeah, it was great for them to let me look around the workshop and stuff and show us how it's made and all their pipe benders and stuff. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I'll leave that in the comments. Or failing that, watch, I can't remember what episode it is now. It's somewhere in the middle of Series 1. And I'm pretty sure there's a link on that. But I'll leave a link in the comments after when I finish. So where we go? Here we go. How am I coping with the lockdown? Yeah, not too bad. So I quit a job that I've done for like the last year or whatever, and just before like a week before the lockdown happened. So Yeah, I haven't got a new job. I got a grandmother who's fairly old and stuff like that, so you know, I just worried about her and stuff. So I haven't been going to, you know, I haven't found another job sort of thing. So yeah, I've had plenty of time at home, but I actually live with my parents. I know I'm a bit old for all of that, but yeah, there's the three of us, so we kind of keep each other company and try not to step on each other's feet as much as we can. So, but yeah, I've been getting on all right. Um, I'm quite a social person. I will get my words out. I'm quite a social person, but at the same time, I can be by myself most of the time as well. So, quite lucky in that respect, I would say. Can you turn the volume up, please? Here, sorry, I'm driving and just don't want to miss anything. Kieran, stop listening to this while you're driving. Wait till later and watch it. It's fine. Be safe. Yeah. So, how is my welding skills progressing? So, yeah, I like to think. You know, I haven't done masses of welding, um, but I'm getting there. Every time I practice, it just gets a bit better. It's about having a steady hand because you're holding it. You know, actually, I've got the TIG torch here. I'll show you quick if you don't mind. So, if this is the TIG welder, right, you got this tiny little tungsten, this tiny little point there. And when you're welding something, so if you imagine you're welding this piece of box steel, you need to hold it about that far away, which on the camera it doesn't look, but hang on. Yeah, so if I do that, so you need to hold it about that far away, probably 2 or 3 mil off of the surface, maybe a little bit more, and hold it there. And if you touch it down, you ruin the tungsten and you have to sharpen it again. So you don't want to touch it down. You don't want to be too far away. The angle of the torch makes a difference. And if you're welding in a corner piece like that, you can't weld it like that or like that. It has to be like right in the middle, and then you have to turn it a bit. And yeah, there's quite a lot to it. But luckily, this brilliant platform we're on YouTube, there's so much learning you can do on YouTube for welding. There's so much knowledge and people explaining stuff. It's great. So I watch as many welding videos as I can as well, and it really, really has helped me. So right, getting through the questions. Lockdown. Here we go. Richie D, are you keeping your engine standard or are you going to modify it in line with the addition of the turbo? Yes, that is something I'm going to be doing. It's probably going to be in the series of the turbo videos. It's probably going to be one of the last few things I do before I actually sort of fire it up for the first time. My plan is to increase the bore size to 81 mil, which takes it out to 1216 cc's. Now there's two options I can go from now. I can either you need to lower the compression ratio, which I kind of understand it, but don't understand it enough to explain it to anyone. But there's a compression ratio, and you need to decrease that if you're turbocharging something. You don't necessarily need to, but I don't know enough to explain it. But the things I've been recommended is to lower the compression ratio. Now, some people use second-hand pistons for this, or you can buy brand new ones that are specific for the job. Now, I'm not sure what route I'm going to go down. I'm trying to do this on a budget. I haven't got an endless budget to turbo it. So it's going to be one of the last things I do because it's probably going to be one of the most expensive parts of the job. I've got to take the barrels off, get them bored out, get the pistons and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave that towards the end and save up for it. And the other jobs should be a bit cheaper than that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'll explain everything as I go on through the videos. But yes, I'm definitely going to modify the engine, mainly because if I go for a bigger turbo or more power stuff in the future, I want to sort of future-proof the engine. I mean, I'm not completely building it and putting con rods in it and all that sort of stuff. I'm literally just going to make it, you know, sort of enough sort of sensible power, if that makes sense, but something that's going to last as well, because I don't want to be rebuilding it or blowing it up and stuff like that. No one wants to do that. So, right. Kev Shed, what camera do you use for filming your videos? So on my normal sort of, I suppose I'd call them feature videos as opposed to live ones, I'm going live on my phone. I use a Nikon D500, which probably isn't the best camera for video. It's more of a sort of motorsports or wildlife photography camera, but it does do 4K, although it's cropped, which makes everything seem closer or more zoomed in, which isn't always the best thing. But it, it works for me. I've got a couple of different lenses. I try not to go as wide because it can make you look this big. I'm not saying it's the lens doing it, but it's not the best for distortion and stuff like that. But yeah, I try my best. I'm in a double garage, so I can shoot from one side to the other because there's a brick wall on half of it, and then the other half's open. So from there, it looks quite far away. But where my phone is now is where I record from, normally in a video. So you can see how it compresses it all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a bit geeky and a bit boring. But yeah, so a D500 Nikon. I've had it for a good few years now, and I absolutely love it. It's a great camera. Yeah, it's pretty good for video, really. I mean, it does 4K and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, hope that helps, Kev. Right. Mark Hutchins, hi Ian. I'm expecting my Mark 1 Bandit 12 seat to come back from Lucky 7. Can't wait. Hopefully it looks as good as yours. Oh, awesome, Mark. Yeah. So, yeah, Steve at Lucky 7. Yeah, he did the Bandit seat. I absolutely love that. Like you say, I think it looks pretty good. I love it, really. I've never really had sort of nice seats on my Bandits. When I was younger, I sort of, used them every day and had jeans with, sharp bits on and stuff like that. And, I was always ripping them. But yeah, it's really nice to have a quality seat on there. And he does do a good job. I think, like I said in the video about the seat, like he used to be an upholsterer for Aston Martin, so he knows what he's doing. So yeah, no, it's good. Let us know how you get on with your seat, and if you send us a picture or something, what it looks like, that'd be pretty cool. So, right, Darren Sharp, did you end up selling the Slabby, and is it just the Bandits you have now? Yes. So the Slabby is gone. I love that Slabby. I really did. I bought that absolutely donkeys years ago for not a lot of money. And I always joked it was my pension fund. I started restoring it. I wanted to sort of get it back on the road, maybe ride it around. But the last time I rode it like twice and went, I don't like that. Why am I riding it? And then I was getting towards the end of the project and I was struggling with it. I'm not going to lie. I was just sort of enthusiasm and time, and just a few bits were fighting me. Setting up those flat side carbs is an absolute nightmare. I had 3 sets of carbs, and I was just trying. I tried making one good set, but I couldn't get anywhere. Not having an airbox in doesn't help setting them up. They love an airbox, and I had an airbox, but I didn't have the rubbers for it, and it was a nightmare. So I actually decided to sell it, and that's why we've got the Champagne Bandit. So yeah, I sort of replaced it with that. I sold it to someone, and then I found that Bandit for sale. So yeah, so the Slabby's gone. I'm a little bit upset, but I know where it is. It's safe and sound, and it's just sitting there. So yeah, I love the Slabby, and it's gone, but I know where it is, and if I wanted it back, I probably could, but it's gone now. Like, as much as I think, oh, I'd love that back, I've had my time with it. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy looking at them. At the time when I bought it, I'd never seen one with fairing on. They'd all been street fired. So, but yeah, I loved it now. So yeah, I'm just down to Bandits. I've got my 2 Bandits, the black one and the Turbo Bandit. Bill's got his Jigsaw Fowl, and he's also got a Bandit 12 as well. So we've got loads of Bandit 12s here. So what happened to the TLR that you had in your garage? Yeah, so the TLR wasn't actually mine. I'd been chatting to Ian and Scotty about maybe doing some how-to videos and stuff like that, and we actually found that bike that definitely needed some work doing that wasn't one of my Bandits, because I didn't want to necessarily get, like, stereotyped and pigeonholed with just doing Bandit stuff. So I wanted to work on a different bike, and we come up with that. I've decided against the how-to videos eventually, because it's so, like, to make sure you say everything perfectly, it's just such hard work, and then trying to film it all, and, like, and to make sure you're saying it right, you need like a script and stuff like that. I don't do scripts. I just kind of, like, you know if I think, right, the next video, I know what my job, or the job I want to try and achieve in that video is, and I know roughly what I want to do, and that's as far as it is. I don't know what camera shots I'm doing and all this sort of stuff. I just think, right, next video, I'm going to do the valve clearances, or the next video, I'm going to fit the chain, or, I don't want to have to go into the ins and outs of absolutely everything. I don't want to say anything wrong. I wouldn't want someone to, damage their bike or do something wrong or something unsafe on their bike because of something I've said. I appreciate all the comments I get, and you get so many people, comments saying, "Oh, you've inspired me to work on my bike," and that's great. I love that, and I think it's amazing that people are, gonna go and work on their bikes and stuff. But it's always a thing in the back of my mind that, I don't want anybody to ruin their bike or do anything wrong to it, or, do something that's unsafe and probably hurt themselves. I just really wouldn't want that. So, my videos, as much as I talk about through what I'm doing, I do it because, people find it interesting. I'm not doing it as a how-to, or, explaining all that sort of stuff, if that makes sense. I'm probably rambling a bit, so let me get to the next comment. So Kev shared, decreasing the comp ratio makes for a reliable turbo build. This can be done with low compression pistons or a thicker head gasket or decomp plate. Yes, yeah. So it's something about how much gas, or how much room's in the cylinder and stuff. I know that much. But yeah, like you say, low compression pistons, a thicker head gasket, or you can actually buy spacer plates for a Bandit to lift the barrels up. But when you do that, apparently it throws the cam timing off, and then you need adjustable cam sprockets. And yeah, I'd rather just do it with the piston way, and then the timing standard for now anyway. There's lots I need to learn about it. But yeah, thanks, Kev. Richie D, what about brakes and suspension? So I have had a quick ride of the silver one just around the block, and the brakes on it, it's actually got 6 pots off of a Mark II Bandit. Sorry, just need to move a bit. It's actually got 6 pots on it, and the pads in it look really good. It's got braided lines on, and the brakes actually work really good for a Bandit. I've never thought Bandit brakes are the best. They're okay, they do the job, but the brakes on this are just outstanding, so I don't actually want to touch them in case I make them worse somehow. But yeah, they actually work really, really well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with the suspension. I have been looking at upside down front ends for it, but I'm not overly fussed. It's more about the turbo build for that bike than doing anything else to it. But you never know, my ideas might change. The other day I was thinking, if I turbo it, shall I lower it a bit, maybe make it longer, maybe go drag racing? I'm not really sure what will happen with it. It's an evolution of how things go and stuff. Something I used to do years and years and years ago is enter the wheelie competition with straight liners down the quarter mile, and I really loved doing that. But again, I was doing it on a standard-ish Bandit 1200, and most of the other people in the class were running turbos and superchargers and stuff. So I was a couple of seconds, probably more slower than they were. So obviously in the drag racing round, 2 seconds might as well be a year. Sorry. So yeah, so I was horrendously slow. So yeah, you never know. I might even have a go at the wheelie competitions again, which if I do, I'll take you on for the ride and adventure, and sort of show you what happens with that if I do it. It's something I wouldn't mind doing, but it's time and money and all that sort of stuff. So wicked, right. What GoPro cameras do you use while recording, riding? What model? So I've got a GoPro Hero 5, I think it is. It's the one that came out in 2017. I know that much. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's the one that's got like, or it's the first time they had good in-body stabilization or digital stabilization or whatever it is. It's, yeah, it does the job for me. The sound's pretty good on it. It's just the battery life's terrible on them. You know, sometimes I was getting half an hour out of a battery charge, which, depending on what you're doing, is like nowhere near enough. But yeah, I quite like that. I don't use it as much as I probably should. I'd love to try motor vlogging, but on the Hero 5, it's really hard. You have to get an adapter for the microphone and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, and to be fair, when I'm riding and I've got a helmet on, I do suffer from hay fever, which summer's the worst time for it, and I do have a blocked nose a lot of the time, so I sound terrible inside a helmet. I'm not sure you'd want to hear that, but yeah. Yeah, Hero 5, I think it is. So, Dixie the dog, hi. A while back, I offered to give you the measurements from a couple of turbo planners for Bandits to help you along. One was an FBM one, which is fast by me, and the other was a Pete Field one. I found it impossible to email you. Okay, Dixie, can you send a message, if you're on Facebook, send a message to the classicmotorbikes.net Facebook page, and I'll definitely pick up the message through there, if that's all right. Let me know if you can do it. If you can't, leave a comment on this video again, and I'll find a definite email address for you. But yeah, I'd appreciate the dimensions and stuff. That would really help me out tremendously, because the one thing I haven't tried yet is aluminium welding, or welding aluminium, and I haven't got any aluminium yet to actually make a start on the plenum and the pipe work and all that sort of stuff. So that is something I need to start thinking about, really. So, more comments. Dixie, here we go. I think it's Kruno49. Hello, Ian. When would be a turbo Bandit? When would a turbo Bandit in running condition? Greetings from Croatia. Hello from Croatia. I'm not quite sure what you mean. I think something's a little bit lost in translation. When would a turbo Bandit in running condition? So, with my Bandit, I'm hoping, like my plan, you know, these don't always go to plan, but I'd like to be able to ride it this year. That's my goal. Whether I ride it a lot or anything like this, I'd like to have it going this year. I've kind of got everything in my head planned out, and I've got most of the stuff I need. There's lots of fuel stuff that I need to order, like regulators and fuel pumps and bits and bobs like that. But I know what I need. I just need to get it. But obviously I need to make headers and fit the turbo, and then there's oil lines and all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot to it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm not overly scared about the amount that needs doing. You know, I feel it's achievable. Whether it is or not, I don't know, you know, because it's all new and all learning and stuff to me. So yeah, hopefully it's riding this year. I mean, I don't know how long this lockdown's going to be, but you never know. I might get it done before the lockdown and stuff. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'll get it done this year, and yeah, I can't wait to. I've always wanted a turbo Bandit. You know, for years and years and years, I've seen other people do it, and I'm just so happy to finally be on a journey. The turbo headers are here. It's starting to feel real, if that makes sense. Even though I've done a couple of videos, it really does feel real now. I've got a turbo in the garage, I've got the welder, I've got the pipe work. It's quite exciting. Something else I might be able to show you. Bear with me. If I can find them. Where does that go? Bear with me. It's quite a big box. Oh, here we go. Aha. So, one thing I've got is a turbo flange. I actually got that from Pete Field. I was struggling to find one of these anywhere in, you know, a decent thickness of stainless. There's loads of mild steel ones, but I want to do it in stainless because it doesn't want to write out. But yeah, so I've got that. So yeah, another piece to the puzzle. I've been waiting on deliveries and stuff to turn up, and obviously, you know, it's been a nightmare recently, but it's just one of those things we've got to live with, unfortunately. So right, let me have a look at the comments. Jack, are you going to make the Bandit another S model or keep it naked? I think for the moment it's just going to stay naked. I do like them naked. I do like them as an S. trying to find, because I really like that colour of Bandit as well. It's quite unusual, the champagne. It is actually a UK bike as well. I always thought they were imports, but I spoke to someone at Suzuki and they confirmed it is a UK bike. Sometimes if you know, a bike's made for a different market or a different country, or you know, say Europe has different colours to the UK, and the UK has different colours to America sometimes, not all the time, but yeah, I always thought that was like a European colour. But they do occasionally move stock around, so if they weren't selling a lot in Europe, they'll bring a few over to England, put the right clocks on them and stuff like that. And yeah, so that has actually come from Suzuki. I actually got an info sheet on it and stuff, saying where it's, you know, it's come from Suzuki and when it was brought into the country and all this sort of stuff. It's quite interesting, really. But yeah, so I think, like I was saying earlier, to me that bike's more about just doing the turbo kit. I'm not too worried about what's, you know, the rest of the bike looks like or what fairing it's got and stuff like that. I don't want to modify it because it's actually a really original bike. It's only done 18,000 miles from new. It's even got the original indicators, mirrors. The only thing that's not original is it's got CNC levers on, which I think everyone does, and the mudguard's been cut down at the back, but I do actually have an original mudguard stashed away in a loft. So yeah, it's a pretty original bike, so I don't want to modify the bike that I can't put back to standard. So yeah, the bike will probably just be like that for now. You never know, I might change my mind, you know, in a couple of months' time. I go, no, I'm going full out, I'm cutting this off, I'm doing this. You never know. I do change my mind occasionally. I think the term was, I used to be indecisive, but now I'm not sure. But yeah, so it's just going to stay like that for the moment. So there's Jack Darren. What's the worst bike you've ever worked on, ridden on? So that's probably two different bikes. What's the worst one I've ever worked on? So I used to work in a bike shop when I was like 17 or 18 until I was 23, I think. Worked there for a few years and stuff, and I've been working on mopeds from when I was like 16. So worst bike I've ever worked on. I wouldn't say a particular model. I think I'd struggle to say a particular model because most of them are pretty good to work on. The newer the sports bikes get, the harder they get to work on. I remember doing the valve clearances on a 2005 R1. It was probably quite new at the time. And to check the valve clearances, which are shims, I hate shims anyway. Screw and lock nut so much better, which the Bandit engines have. So to get the rocker cover off, because the engines fit in from underneath the beam frame, you can't take the rocker cover off, like off the top of the engine, because the frame's in the way. And you have to take the radiator off, unbolt the radiator, drop the coolant out, move it out the way and drop it out the front of the bike towards the front wheel. And I was like, that is the most stupid thing ever. I rung up a friend who was at Yamaha, and I said, mate, how'd you get the rocker cover off this? And he goes, you got to take the radiator off. Or he's like, that's what they recommend, or that's what they do. I was like, you're joking. He's like, no, you got to take the radiator off, take the rocker cover out the front, and then do the valve clearances, and then put it back up. It was so tight and hard to work on. The second least favourite bike I've ever worked on was an FZR1000 X-Up. And at the time, it was probably getting on for a 20-year-old bike. And this thing had probably been sat for 15 years. And the inside of the carbs was disgusting. It was like varnish in there. It was terrible. It was an absolute nightmare stripping them carbs. It was kind of like before ultrasonic cleaners. He literally had to sit there with a piece of, thin enough wire, jamming it through all the bits of the carbs and stuff, and leaving it soak in petrol and brake cleaner and all that sort of stuff. That was an absolute nightmare. The worst bike I've ever ridden, I'm going to tell you all a little story now if you've got time. I know I've been waffling on for nearly an hour. A friend of mine, this was again when I was probably early 20, I was probably 20 or around that age. A friend of mine bought a Honda CBR 400. I doubt he's watching, but we went we drove 460 miles to go and pick this bike up from like the north of Scotland. And it was, you know, the photos looked great, and bearing in mind this was, I don't know, probably 12 or 13 years ago. The photos looked great on the internet. We got there, it was just like the biggest pile of rubbish I'd ever seen. He'd paid way too much money for it because it was a CBR 400. It was like the only one for sale in the country at the time. Went all the way up there in a massive van, and he said, "What do you think?" I was like, "Just go home, man. Like, you know, we've had a bit of a journey up to Scotland. Let's get some sleep somewhere, have something to eat, and just drive back, man. Like, you know, just mark it down as an experience and just enjoy ourselves on the way back." And he's like, "Yeah, but we're here. I've got the cash." I said, "You don't want this one. Like, wait. You haven't passed your test yet. Wait." So we ended up driving back with this CBR 400 in the back of the van. He started doing his tests and stuff, but it needed so much work doing to it. There was wheel bearings that needed doing, the brakes needed doing, it needed tyres on it, chain and sprockets. Like, it was just, if you can imagine it, it needed it, right? He spent a fortune on this thing. He wasn't a mechanic, he was actually a web designer. And he's like, "Oh, can you teach us a few things and stuff?" So I was sort of showing him how this works and showing him how that works. And I think I'd got him to put his rear disc on, and I'd showed him the Loctite. And I said, "Is everything tight? Like, we'd finally got this bike back together." And he's like, "Oh, can you ride it for me? Make sure it's okay." No problem. So I go to ride it. I said, "Is everything okay? You sure it's all tight?" "Yeah, no problem." You know, should have checked myself really. I took the bike for a spin on a private racetrack, of course. I got up to sort of about 80 or 90 mile an hour, and the back wheel locked solid. I thought I'd blown it up. I was like, I know this might sound a bit harsh, but in the nicest way possible. I was like, yes, like, thank God he's not going to ride this thing. I thought I'd seized it, or something like that had happened. So I pulled the clutch in, thinking, "Oh, I'll disengage the seized engine and the back wheel will start turning," because it was, you know, locked solid at this point. You know, sort of, you know, we're slowing down now, but we're probably still doing 70 mile an hour. I pulled the clutch in, still locked up. I'm like, this is strange. Normally, you know, the clutch disconnects it from the engine. So what had happened is one of the disc bolts at the rear had come out the wheel, and it got stuck behind the caliper hanger. When I let the clutch go, it actually ripped through the caliper hanger and started turned, God knows how, you know, a few times, and then it locked up again. And then I skidded to a halt on this private racetrack, of course. And yeah, I pulled over, and I was like, "What's going on?" I didn't realise it was the rear brake at this point. But I'm looking around it, and I just see this bolt sticking out. There's like metal shavings everywhere. And I had my gloves on because this bolt was red hot almost. I touched this bolt, and it just fell off like it had snapped. I couldn't believe it. I just like, he said it was all tight, and I'm just like, I was furious. So I rode it back really, really slowly with, like, you know, the caliper hangers are probably what, as wide as your finger, maybe a bit wider. It cut through half of it. So I rode it back at like 10 mile an hour. Went back to, threw the keys at it, was like, "I'm never riding that again." Tried to kill me. And yeah, so hopefully that wasn't too boring. Yeah, always check things are tight. Even if other people said they've done it, make sure you double check. So yeah, so let me go. There's a few more comments. What's the worst bike I've ever ridden? So yeah. Hi there, I have a Bandit 1200. I would just like to say thank you for the brilliant videos that you post on YouTube. I've learnt a lot about my bike. Thank you. No problem, Andrew. Thanks for, you know, watching them really. I think I've been doing them about 2 years now on this channel. And it's grown from like nothing to, I think we've got 2,200 subscribers now. I think it's incredible that like that many people have watched, you know, me in the garage working on my bikes. I think it's, you know, amazing that there's that many people. You know, I've spoke to people outside of Facebook, YouTube. I've spoke to people on Facebook and, you know, groups and stuff. Sorry, my hay fever's like, oh. Yeah, I just think it's incredible, really, that, you know, people take the time to watch this video. So I might as well say it now. Like, I really do appreciate all you guys watching. Every time you give a thumbs up, leave a comment or share the videos, It obviously helps me in the channel out, you know, getting more views and stuff, which, you know, I suppose that's what everyone wants. But, you know, I just get blown away by the amount of views stuff's had. You know, I'm by no means the biggest channel that is. And, yeah, you know, I'm just blown away that many people have found it interesting enough to sit there and watch the video. So, yeah, I appreciate it. And I'm also glad to hear that you've learnt some stuff and been inspired to work on your own bikes and that sort of thing. It really does mean a lot. So, yeah, thank you, Andrew. I do appreciate the comment. So, Gareth, would you sell the front mudguard that has... Is it cut down if you're putting it in standard? So, yeah, it's the rear one. So, it's like the under tray. It's not the front mudguard that's cut down. Normally, I'd say I'd sell it, but generally, I've got to a stage now where I just don't sell Bandit stuff anymore because you never know when you're going to need it. And there's a chance I might actually cut it down further because on my Bandit I've trimmed it right back so it follows the line of the bike. I might do that as it's being cut down to make it look a bit better, but then I've got the standard one in case I ever want to put it back to standard. So yeah, so no, sorry, Gareth. Yeah, I'll just keep hold of that. I'm sure you'll find one. So yeah, Darren Sharp, big thumbs up. So right, guys, I can't believe I've been waffling on for over an hour now. My nose, yeah, hay fever. It does me in big style. So yeah, so I think I'll call it a day. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you've liked what I've shown you. Hopefully you let me off for not uploading a video for a while. I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate you watching and stuff. So yeah, hopefully you've liked what you see. I plan, you never know how things go, but it's not like I've got a lot else to do at the moment. I'm planning on making my welding table this week, so hopefully I'll have a video for the weekends, or hopefully I'll have a video for Sunday night. I'm going to keep them to like Sunday night at 8 o'clock. That's my plan anyway. So yeah, hopefully I'll have a video. It might be a bit boring for you because I'll literally be making a welding table, but I'll be cutting stuff, welding things, measuring stuff. You know, hopefully you find it interesting. I've lost my train of thought. I do this sometimes. But yeah, and then the following week I should have a turbo video because I'll have the welding table. I'll be able to. I know it sounds weird having a table, but I'll be able to make a start on the Bandit because I need to take some stuff off of it, and then I need to start offering stuff up, cutting things, measuring stuff, welding things, that sort of stuff. So yeah, so in the next week or so we're going to start having videos again. I'm going to try and do them every week like I used to, but there might be an odd gap where I'm waiting for stuff or that sort of thing. So yeah, a few more comments. Let me just read these before I go, if you don't mind, because it's weird. Live feeds, all these comments disappear when the video goes back up. So let me just read them before I go. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Are you still selling merchandise? Remember, I tried to buy some, but ended up in nothing. Yeah, so if you go on any of the most recent videos, we do sell some classic motorbike, like t-shirts, hoodies, and I think there's a beanie as well. It's actually a local company to us that does it. They make the t-shirts and send them out and that sort of stuff. So, and obviously we get a cut off of that, if that makes sense, because they make the t-shirt and then there's a little bit on top of them. We sort of have that little bit on top, which is kind of cool. So yeah, if you want to get one of those, that'd be awesome. We really would appreciate it, and it just sort of helps us keep the spanners turning, really. Yeah, that's awesome. Right, Raw, glad you're still working on the Bandits. I'd like to see the turbo one when it's all finished. Yes, I'll probably will show the Bandit one off when it's all done. I've got some plans, whether they happen or not, but yeah, I'll definitely be showing it off and riding it, and I'm pretty chuffed about that, as you can probably tell. Keep up the good work, Ian. Nice to see you back. Thank you very much. Yeah, like I say, I feel a bit bad about not being around, but it's just, life does get in the way sometimes. But I am still here, and yeah, the videos hopefully will be flowing soon. Thanks for making these videos. You're doing a great job sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you very much, Jay. I do appreciate it. And yeah, so I will call that a day now because it's been an hour and 5 minutes. So yeah, thanks guys, and until next time, we'll see you later.